Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm a fluid figurative artist. So what I do is I make paintings, pour paintings, and turn them into figurative art, such as this, this. Can you see? This is so gorgeous. And these. As you can see, they're all done with pour technique. Can you see it? It's all done with pour techniques. Even the face too. Ta-da! Show the sides, they're all pours. Okay, so this is what I do. One time ago, I made a video about how I mix my paints, and it's very simple. I just use paint and water. Now I've bought a lot of different types of paints, and I think that the better the brand is, the better quality of work you'll get. So my favorite paints are actually Amsterdam and where is it? Hold on. Liquitex. Now, they don't smell, so no matter how much you pour, they do not smell. They smell really clean. They don't have smell basically. And the color is really vibrant. The paint is pretty thick. And this is just great paints. Now, I've tried Pebeo too, but then I find that Pebeo paint... Hold on, let me get you the Pebeo paint. Now, since I'm talking about paints, I might as well show you the collection of paints I have. Now, this is Deco Art Extra Sheen. They're very, very shiny, but I don't really like to use them because they are they're very empowering. And if you put too much of them in your work, I find there too much glitter in it, so I don't really use them as well. Now, as I say, Liquitex is my favorite brand. The paints are great, the pigments are great, and the colors are really sharp, so this is really, really nice. And then I have Amsterdam paints, which are also great and a cheaper alternative to Liquitex. I have a Pebeo, I bought a Pebeo paint because I love this color. So Pebeo paints have really nice colors, like really, really nice color. This is iridescent. Let me see, this is iridescent green blue, so the color is really beautiful, very gorgeous. But one thing downside about this paint is that, see, the color is really beautiful. This paint has smell, so I think they put something else inside. Even though it's acrylic, but it creates a lot of cells, so I think they put something inside to make it not so acrylic, but acrylic, you know, if you understand what I'm saying. And I tried cheaper brand paints too because I spent too much money buying a lot of expensive paints. See, I've got like three shelves full of paints, and this is not the only paints I have. I still have a lot back there. But anyway, I bought some cheap ones to try it out, and I love the colors, but then the pigments are not so good and they stink too. So I don't know, I think it's not really acrylic paint, even though they say that it is acrylic paint. It has smell. The paint sometimes is quite lumpy, like it'll just bulge out this blob of paint inside here, so it's kind of gross. So you really have to filter the paint if you want to use this brand. This is a Korean brand, so this is pretty cheap, but I would not recommend it. So as I said, I mostly use a lot of Liquitex and Amsterdam. The paints are really, really good. Now, if you see here, I have this satin enamel by Deco Art because I wanted to create the pearl effect, but up to now I have not been able to do a really beautiful pearl, but this creates really good effects if you know how to use it properly. So for now, I'm just going to keep it in the shelf because my main objective is to create figurative art, so I do not want a lot of cells in my work. Right. coming back to how I mix my paints, very simple. I've got a lot of different paints here. What I do is I just mix the colors that I want, and then I just add in water. And once I'm done, I'll just stir it. So maybe I need to put you down so you can see it. Okay, don't mind the messiness. Sorry about that. Now, at least you can see the paint clearly. So, you see my paints are thick, right? This is how I usually mix my paints. I make sure that it is thick first, but you have to make sure that you really incorporate them really well. It means mix them really well and make sure that the paints are all mixed together perfectly before you add in more water. This way you avoid any clumps. So this is how I dilute my paint, just with water, plain water from the tap, nothing fancy. And then I mix them. So I usually like my paints to be a bit runny. Now this one is already pre-mixed, so I mean this is my old paint, so I'm not going to show you how I do this, but let me show you a new one. Now this is the new color that I've just mixed. Not sure if you can see it. It's actually, it looks like indigo. This is indigo. I just mixed red and blue. So this is my paint. This is the ultramarine blue. Oh dear, I spilled it. Gah. Okay, didn't know that. And I add the primary red by Amsterdam. So I just mix these two together and then I stir it. Now, see, it's really thick because I've not added in water yet. So I just want to make sure that the paints are all incorporated first and that they're mixed properly, because if you put in water, it's going to look like, how do I describe this in a gentle manner? It's like a clump of poo, I would say. And when you add in water, like it doesn't mix so well to begin with. So what you do is you add in bit by bit of water. So I just, there we go, just a little bit, not too much. And then all you need to do is just mix it. Now you have to make sure all the paints are mixed with the water first to break down all the binder that is binding the paints together. And then keep mixing it. Now, when everything is mixed together, you don't see any water in them, you add in more water. So add in another 50% of water, which is half of the paints that you have. Again, mix it till they're all incorporated. Now this step is very crucial because if you don't mix them properly, when you add in more water, you get clumps. Can you see the clumps at the side here? These are the clumps, and this is what we don't want. So you have to make sure that you mix them really nicely. Now, when you don't see any water that is out, means it's fully incorporated into the paint, you add in more water, but be gentle, okay? Not too rough and not too hard, because if you stir it a bit too hard or mix a bit too vigorously, you get a lot of tiny cells later. So it depends. Sometimes I think it's good, but sometimes I like it to have less bubbles and cells in my work. So yeah, I will stir accordingly. So these are just all chemistry. Okay, now you see it's thick, but this is how people usually like it. But for me, I got really accustomed to really thin paints, so I make sure my paints are not too thick and not too thin. But yeah, my paints are usually runnier than maple syrup. Just a bit runnier than maple syrup, but not too runny, otherwise it's gonna be just too thin. So I'm just gonna mix everything together. Okay, see, it has to coat the stick and then it has to run. So if it runs like this, it is ready to be poured and used. Okay, so I have this one which is an orange color. I think I should show you this one instead so that you can see clearer, because the other color is a bit too dark. So here I've already mixed it. So what I do is I mix the colors first, and then I add in a bit of water, and then I will stir it until it's completely incorporated, and then I'll add in more water and more water until I want the consistency that is runny like maple syrup. So it's, sorry, you probably can't see it. But yeah, you have to mix slowly. If you mix the paste, if you mix too much water up front, then you know you have a lot of lumps and clumps, and it'll be very hard for you to stir them all together to, you know, incorporate them into a really nice smooth mixture, or better. So this is it. Just mix it with water. And then, can you see it? Mine is really runny. So some people like it not this runny, but I like it runny because I can do a lot of nice effects with it. So my paints are usually about this consistency. Here you go. Can you see it? So at least it coats the stick, the popsicle stick, and you're good to go. If you can't control this watery type of paint, you can always make them thicker. So it's really up to you to play with it. But this is the consistency that I like to use. So, I hope this video helped you. If you ever have any questions of how I mix my paints, you can always write down in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of how to mix paints with me, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!